Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original presented by Perplexity. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us, coming to us live from the bustling metropolis of Bristol, Connecticut. You can check him out on ESPN Radio with Harry Douglas and Harry Lyles Jr. You got 2 Black Harrys in the year 2025 in the same place on the same show, Shannon Penn. I feel like that's an obligation. Like, once you got the 2 Black Harrys, you got to get them together.
Yeah, we do some stuff on the digital front with Harry Lyles as well. But no, I'm holding it down with Freddie Coleman as well too. So
okay, my bad. I had that mixed up. See, I don't have a car anymore. Therefore, I don't know what nobody radio is hitting on these days. I thought it was Harry and Harry. That's my fault.
So you got it half right. You got the one Harry. We do have Harry Lyles on the show though.
No, my bad to Freddie, man. I don't know why I think I'd been, you know what it was? I'd seen stuff on like IG with Harry and Harry during like college football season.
Right. And then they just did the draft too. They did the digital draft last week. So that explain it. No,
I'll tell you this though. It's wild though. Every time I think about somebody named Harry, I actually think about them Chinese folks I went to graduate school with. Because very often our Chinese brothers come to the United States and they adopt, I don't know if they call it a Christian name, an American name, however they put it, but they adopt those names. But the problem is, whatever list we sent over there for them with names, they ain't updated that since like 1958, right? So everybody like, oh, what's going on, Dick? How do we still making those,
we still out here with Georges, like not Jorge, but we're still out here with Georges with the G.
Yes. Well, what I'd always wondered is when they send like the second edition of that book, will we get us some like Andres by mistake? You know what I'm saying? Somebody put the wrong name in the wrong place or something maybe a little more neutral, like Carlos.
I'm still waiting because it's all the wave now, and you see it in any of these NBA and NFL drafts, this wave of Jalen's now, right?
Yes.
So I wonder when the Jalen's on volume 3, when it's gonna make this wave over there, and we can come with some folks named Jalen.
Jalen Rose's mama changed the entire world, right? Like I think you and I have talked about this when you feel like you came up with a saying. And like everybody else is saying it, like my brother is adamant that he is the first person to say drop a deuce as a reference to defecation. He firmly believes that he's the OG. Nobody came up with that. I got a couple. I mean, sometimes, because of the internet, I know I started some of this, right?
Right.
I feel like it and I just let it ride. But every now and then I search something. For example, when I started calling Trae Young Trae the Barge, I searched it. Somebody else had called him Trae the Barge, but I still feel like I'm the representative of the Trae the Barge movement.
Right. And it happens all the time, too. And you see it on social. And some of the stuff, you got to let it ride. But as a matter of fact, I did a show with Randy Scott, SportsCenter anchor the other, 2 weeks ago. And he said the first time he had ever heard Free 99 was on The Right Time. So ever since then, he uses Free 99, but yet he doesn't give us the credit. But but he told me, though, at least he told me that, hey, I just want to let you know, I've been using Free 99 for the last 5 years now. I'm like, all right, Randy, it's cool.
I think and for those of you who don't know, Shannon is the OG producer of The Right Time. I say this as Ryan is joining us now. We have a new producer coming in. I'm starting to wonder if it's me. You know what I'm saying? But like, these are the things that happen. My favorite, though, of all time. Sandy Darity, my advisor in graduate school in North Carolina, is adamant that it is he who first called Barry White the Walrus of Love. He is of all the things, right? And like he's adamant in the way where he'd be like, Kirsten, tell him. Kirsten, tell him. Like
let him know the year was 1972.
Yes. His wife has to co-sign, right? Like this is where it goes. Now, I want to run something by you that's tangentially sports related. I've had a weird week this week where, had my things to say about what was going on with the draft and Shedeur Sanders. Don't like everybody that's on my team with this one, but hey, stand by what I said because what I said was correct, right? Just because dishonest people are broken clocks, they got it twice a day. Can't run from what you think, right? But it made me think about something that had never crossed my mind. And I am going to ask this of you.
Okay.
As you have twirled a cane or two in your time. you have shimmied here and there. How in the world is Deion Sanders not a Kappa?
That's a great question. But my thing would be, would you want to be on the line with Deion though? Like Deion might be the first dude on line who would have LBs, but yet he would be the head and the tail of said line. Like he would introduce his line at the probate. I'm Deion Sanders, and these are the Temptations. Like that would be like, hold on, Deion, we back here too. Like, imagine being on line with Deion. Come on, man.
No, I think I know exactly what happened as I thought of it. Because look, nothing seems to fit and be more on brand than Deion Sanders and Kappa, and this is in large part because when Deion got on with the Falcons, he in Atlanta playing for a team with them colors. So I done seen him in red suits. Right. You know what I'm saying? I know he's about it. I done seen how he danced, all of those things. He seemed ready-made to be a Kappa, but I could imagine they was probably on Deion's jock too, trying to get him to come out. And Deion be like, man, I went in there one time. They was in there hitting them fools. I was like, I know they don't think they about to be hitting me. Oh, hell no. They ain't not about to be hitting me.
He was like, don't get the Jerry curl and the pomade twisted. I ain't like the rest of y'all.
Yeah, you think Deion about to be calling somebody his big brother? His son can't even act right at job interviews. Right. And he's not Deion Sanders.
You expect me to call my Dina Pledge's daddy? Nah, that ain't happening. There's only one daddy, and that's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
The legendary stories of Deion having a meeting with the Giants and being like, wait a minute, when y'all pick 18? Oh, I ain't gonna be there. And then rolling out.
He wish he could have told the Giants that this year.
Oh man, does he? Like Deion, I just imagining all of this, everything going down as Deion. And you and I, look, we've been doing this frighteningly almost 20 years.
It's crazy. Yep.
Literally almost 20 years, right? You got kids graduating from high school. Ooh. I'm seeing pictures, children I've seen born having sweet 16s, the whole nine.
I'm out here spending Fridays at the DMV getting driver's licenses. It's crazy.
No, when you told me that's where I was like, oh. I was honestly just glad that she wanted a license because these kids don't be wanting to go nowhere and do nothing.
Right, and that's a great point. But I think so much of Shannon is built on independence too. Like she's not like myself. Like Braylon, he's like, nah, I'm cool. Y'all can show for me wherever I need to be. Shannon's like, I gotta get up out of here. Like I don't got time to be waiting for y'all to be picking me up. Yeah. So I'm about to go get this license.
Well, my sister is 10 years older than me, and she figured out the con on the driver's license when she was in high school. When Mama wanted her to go get her license, and she was like, "So I can drive Bo around?" Hell no. She ain't get a license until after her sophomore year in college, or freshman year maybe. But she was just like, you're not going to give me no car. I'm just going to be running errands for this little dude that I'm not even really that sure about.
It's funny you bring that because I actually thought about you in this regard when we were texting about this. Since you're now so much of a New Yorker now, right? When's the last time you drove a car? Because as we all know, having a car is not a necessity in New York. When's the last time you actually drove a car?
I hope to never have a car again, just to be clear. And I rented a car on my trip to... No, it wasn't the last trip to North Carolina. It must have been the last time I was in Atlanta at my parents' house. And I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. Them cars be moving fast. Like when you don't really drive and then you get on the freeway, you're like, oh. And also because I've been in New York so long, my math on distance to time is so thrown off. Yeah. So I'd be somewhere and put something in the app and it'd be like 17 miles. I'm like, oh boy, I'm moving to the other end of the world. They're like 18 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah. You could go 60 here.
Like, that's how the rest of the world operates. That's right.
Yes. I had no idea. Now, again, those of you who go back with us, Shannon is a Giants fan. And I was going to say at first that I worried that I had been like a curse to you as a Giants fan, but it ain't, because it ain't been a lot of good times for you since I've known you as a Giants fan, except you don't won 2 Super Bowls as a Giants fan since I've been around. You know what I'm saying? I did my part. I hate one of your first round picks already. And I think I might not like the other one.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I might not like Jaxson Dart. And I'm going to be honest. It's Jackson with an X. Like it's enough that it's a last name, first name situation.
Mm-hmm.
Last name, first name went to Ole Miss, and it's Jackson with an S. By the way, shout out to you white people finally getting some creativity about yourselves with these names, right? Like
eventually they're gonna start getting these apostrophes in their name. Then know it's gonna be real.
That's right. We're gonna get an accent mark in there somewhere, right? I don't know anything about the young man, right? But he got to show and prove to me. But that boy Abdul Carter, we haven't talked about this on the show. Abdul Carter is the number 3 pick in the draft. He wore number 11 at Penn State. And as you know, that's a big deal at Penn State. That's LeVar Arrington's number. That was what Michael Parsons wore. And look, they give that to Beast, right? It's like 88 is wide receiver with the Dallas Cowboys. They give that to Beast. He lived up to being the Beast. He is clearly a very Philly dude. After all, his name is Abdul. And I saw them at the draft. That was Philly Islam full display, right? You know, go ahead. We know. Like these are things about black people that white people don't understand, and these subtle nuances. When they think about Philadelphia, they think about Rocky and all that. Now, keep in mind, the first scene in Rocky is Rocky playing Summer Madness on his record player. So I'm just saying, Rocky may not have been too far away, but when we think about Philadelphia, them cats got beards. They would be working at the mall with them beards.
That's what I was about to say. Bank. I was surprised that Abdul Carter didn't have a full beard. Like that's what I was expecting. I was expecting his first interview. He's going to drop some Youngs. He was going to drop some Janks.
It's the Bulls. It's the Bulls. The Johns and the Young Bulls.
The young bull coming to New York. You know?
Yes. My roommate, my freshman year was from Philadelphia. I actually lived there for like 4 years. And I got to tell you, I had never considered Philadelphia as anything when I met him. I was from Houston. I thought it was all New York.
Right.
You know, only to get here and realize they don't even think New Jersey is New York. Don't even get me started on Staten Island. I misunderstood. I didn't know what it was. But he started talking about the Bulls and the Johns and everything else. And I was like, oh, I have to learn a new lesson. But for those of you who don't know, Michael Parsons asked Abdul Carter if he was going to wear number 11. Michael Parsons still wears number 11 for the Cowboys, you know, put on for Penn State, a school I would never go to. Abdul Carter said he had a different number in mind. And that number was 56. I don't like this boy. Purely on the strength of that. And then when he didn't get it, LT, Warren Moon, for reasons I don't understand, told Cam Ward he could have it. Maybe Ward is putting on for H-Town and being like, the Titans ain't even really me, right? But he shouldn't have let him. Like, these are ridiculous things that these kids are asking for. You should tell them hell no, right? People don't do that enough with these. Anyway. Abdul Carter, they asked LT, and LT basically asked him, you been smoking rocks? Not because he wanted to, but because it was such a ridiculous request to make. And then Abdul Carter said, nah, it's cool. This basically something to the effect of, this is going to put a chip on my shoulder. And I'm like, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you?
And then he was on some, well, you something along the lines of you know, I had to take my shot or whatever. And he said, no, what was the worst that could happen? You shouldn't have even asked. It shouldn't even have come to that. Like, I appreciate the confidence. I appreciate where you want to be and the type of player and all of that. But some things don't need to be asked. I'm sorry.
The reason you can't have it is the only reason you asked. And the only reason you asked is because it's LT's number. So have we reached a place where people just don't realize what exactly this Lawrence Taylor thing is or was about? Because look, you and I are barely old enough to know what it was about, but we know.
Mm-hmm. Right. and it's different. There's so many levels to the LT thing too. It's not just the performance on the field. It's not just the rookie, defensive rookie of the year and defensive player of the year as a rookie. It's not just winning 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. It's doing all of this in New York and doing all of this in New York in the 80s.
Yes.
New York in the 80s, the Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberries, Michael Ray Richardson, New York. Like, like it hit different then. Like it hit. Look, LT wasn't the only thing hitting in the 80s. There was some things on the streets out there hitting.
It's Shannon. He was the MVP. That first year they won the Super Bowl, he was the MVP. And he's like Michael Jordan in the sense that he was relentless.
Right.
Right? Like, that was the thing about Michael Jordan. Every play you had to strap it on because he was coming. LT, that game where LT had one arm against the Saints and still racked up them 2 sacks and was throwing them dudes all around. Like, no. Who was that? I can't remember what player it was. It may have been Michael Parsons. It wasn't Michael Parsons, but it was somebody. I tried to ask Bill Belichick about and ask him how he compared to Lawrence Taylor. Bill Belichick was just like,
Like, what are we doing? Like, really, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And maybe the young people lose sight of this because, obviously skill level, he's comparable to what Michael Jordan was in the NBA. And maybe because LT didn't have the shoes and folks may not talk about him like they do with such reverence of Michael Jordan, especially with the LeBron debates. But like, there's some things you don't cross. And if you're Abdul Carter, like, you're already going into a tough situation. Like, you're the third overall pick. You're going into a Giants team that has to win. You got the head coach and the GM on the hot seat. Like, there's enough on your shoulders already coming in, and now you want to try to wear 56. It just doesn't help yourself. Like, I love the confidence. I get all of that. And if you want to be a disruptor and be the next Michael Parsons, I would prefer it be the next Michael Parsons on the field and not trying to be Michael Parsons in the media, but that's a whole nother story. But you already have enough on your shoulders. You don't need to come in and add this to it as well.
Shannon, he's not guaranteed to start.
Well, that too.
Like, look, I think I would assume, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but especially you with the memory of these last two Super Bowls, I think you were like me, and I agree. There is no such thing as having too many pass rushers. And, like, if you got a chance at a dude like that as a pass rusher, you do that.
And I think the luxury that Carter has in this situation is that he's not just a pass rusher as well. He did play some middle at Penn State as well. So you can line him up in other packages where he's not just a pass rusher. But you have, but the Giants were in a position there where they had to take the best player available. Was it a big position of need? No. But like you said, you can never have enough pass rushers, especially when you're in a division now with Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts and Rain Dakota. So, like, you need as many pass rushers as you can get.
You're not calling him Dak?
Rain Dakota, man.
You're not calling him Dak? Like, I don't know why. I was listening. I was like, who is he? Is that what it's come to?
Hey, man, that's where we are now. That's where we are now. Because like he's still good, but you're not in that category with those other two. So,
but he can't just be Dak Prescott, not in the same category as the other guys. He can't be that on his own name.
Hey, he ain't been Dak in some time now, man. He got to earn that Dak. I mean, his paycheck say Dak, but he got to earn that on the field.
Well, let me tell you where I feel bad for Dak. Right, it is very easy for us because Dak get that money, right? Because I tell you what they call him at the bank, Mr. Prescott the legend. That is what they call him at the bank. But I think we have forgotten that Dak Prescott is an all-time overachiever. Like, to be a fourth-round pick, like, I'm having to read every time he reaches some height that he can't get past, and I don't have an explanation for what it is. I have to go back and be like, well, he was a fourth-round pick, right? Like that was what it is. Nah, man, he played for the Cowboys, and we be coming at him. And this is important. We at this place where people don't feel like you got to root for every black quarterback. Therefore, the brothers could be as hard on him as the white man is.
Right.
They be coming for Dak's neck.
Not to mention too, like, you have to ask the question now. And I know you said he's an overachiever, but we have to ask the question whether or not Dak has peaked at this point.
Absolutely.
At this point, has Dak peaked? So now, is he starting to teeter on good game manager levels here? But my thing is, at $60 million a year, you can't just be a game manager. So is he still at the point where you win games because of Dak? Or is he at the point where you don't want to lose games because of Dak?
Have they ever been at the point that they won games because of him? Because of the question, right? Like that to me is the issue, because he's going to be 32 this year. We've seen the injuries that he's had. He has been, this will be his 10th year as a starter. Like, he is moving into like Roger Staubach, Tony Romo type territory in terms of his tenure as quarterback for the Cowboys. Danny White is probably most comparable, but I had lunch with Tim Kalishaw one day about that, and I made that Danny White comp, and he's like, yeah, but Danny White went to, I forget if it was 3 or 4 NFC championship games, right? It just hasn't happened. So Dak is a dude who needs guys to throw to. He is, and I'm not saying they're the same, but he is closer to the Kirk Cousins class of quarterback than he is to the, say, Joe Burrow class of quarterback. But they ain't getting him. Are they getting him what is necessary to make this happen?
And is that enough for Dallas at this point? Like, you saw what Dak was when he didn't have Zeke Elliott of 5, 6, 7 years ago, and not having the run game. Yes, you have CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's great. We get this. But what is Dak if you don't have the run game? Not to mention the offensive line that Dallas has, not the offensive line that they had 6, 7 years ago as well.
Yeah, well, they try to get it back, right? Like they try to, because you're right. They were just like, we got Hall of Famers up and down, right? They drafted old boy a couple years ago that everybody told him not to draft, and he turned out to be a Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
And they drafted another guard this year that people said they shouldn't have drafted. However, did you see that interview with Tyler Booker where he said what he enjoys is making people stop loving football?
Oh, really?
Yes, he said that. He said that the reason he loves playing football, that feeling that he's like, when you going against Tyler Booker, it's gonna be like that all day long. And he said you can look at his eyes and you make that man not want to play football no more. I wish he was on my team, America's team. We need another one of those.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. But thinking about on the field, like that's all well and good. But Mr. Booker, you're in the NFC East, right? So you got Jalen Carter and the rest of the Eagle defensive line. You got sexy Dexter Lawrence and the rest of that now Giants defensive line. Like I love the confidence and like those type of dudes. In all honesty, I know he went to Cowboys, but I love him at the draft and his reaction, his excitement and all that. And I love the quote about making people not want to play football anymore. But it's going to be interesting to see. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Like, that's going to be great. You're going to make guys want to stop playing football until you see Jalen Carter, until you see Dexter Lawrence. So
yeah, dude, Jalen Carter's – you don't see that many football players anymore that look like disagreeable.
Yes.
He doesn't look like a good time.
Like I went to an Eagles-Giants game a couple years ago and saw him in pregame warm-ups. And I know everybody's getting in his zone, but you got guys bouncing and getting into it. He was all business. He was like, I'm about that action, boss. He was all business. like damn. Like I saw Jordan Day, like his boys from Georgia. He was like, nah, I'm about that action. I'm about to do damage.
You don't want those problems.
All right, so I got to let this be known because last week, real quick, going back to the Giants in the draft and Jaxson Dart and pick and all, right? I had tweeted, I'm done. And I tweeted, I'm done. I'm officially in the Giants fan transfer portal.
Yeah, you told me on text that you were there.
Yeah. And for those who didn't see it, I actually had a prepared statement that I would like to read, thanks to ChatGPT. So in my transfer portal statement, I said, after much thought and reflection, I have decided to enter the fan transfer portal and step away from my role as a dedicated supporter of the New York Giants. The decision comes after evaluating my current situation and considering what's best for my mental and emotional well-being as a fan. While I've enjoyed the highs and weathered the lows with the Giants, it's clear my fandom needs a new chapter. I will always cherish the memories, but it's time to explore new opportunities and find a team that better aligns with my current outlook. I wish the Giants the best moving forward and thank the organization for these unforgettable moments. As I transition to my next fandom, I am open to new possibilities and excited for what lies ahead. Sincerely, Shannon Penn. I am officially off that narcotic.
All right, hey, let me read some names for you. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, old stupid ass, Sam Laporta, Taylor Decker. They appear to have a white man named Mahogany at left guard. Oh no, he black. My fault. Well, he's black, but there's still a touch of irony. Okay. Frank Ragnow, Panay Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Jack Campbell, Terry Arnold, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Come on over to America's team.
So that's where you are now? That's where you are with the Lions? You're all in on the Lions.
Yeah.
Why are you all in on the Lions?
I like what they stand for. I like what they represent. I'm picking up what they putting down. And when J-Mo threw that damn reverse, that interception on that reverse, I got so mad at Ben Johnson that I realized, this is not a radio bit, guys. This is how I feel. Mm-hmm. Baby, I'm for real. I'm about this. I got gear. I got to get I got hoodies, but I need to get some t-shirts. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Need to prepare. I ain't really got nobody's jersey I'm down to wear, but
and that's where we are. And if you're going all in, like You got to get some like Detroit Lion Gators. You can get some Stacey Adams. You got to start working on your what up though.
Like, I do. I got to get some. I got to get some Chloe glasses. You know what I'm saying? I got to decide. Like if I'm all the way in, I got to get a Hutch jersey. That's what we call them, Shannon. We call them Hutch.
Oh,
I got to.
Okay.
Because Hutch Daddy over from my part of town in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Holding it down for the Northwest Burbs. Like he doing that. But you know, I already got one white man's name on my back, right? I don't really know. I don't really know about throwing another one.
All right, so let me say this about the Giants, right? Like I'm in the portal, but I'm not. I haven't left all the way. Like I'm in the portal. I'm willing to take on a new team. I'm willing to consider going back to the Giants. But I'll explain why my frustration here with the Giants. And granted, hindsight what it is after hearing about Shedeur Sanders' pre-draft process and how he didn't interview well with certain team players and teams didn't have him high. But for me,
your coach really didn't like him.
Well, that's the big part too. And finding out afterwards, and you understand that now with the proper context. But for me going into it, and this has nothing to do with Jaxson Dart, although I talk to like people who watch football, is like, hey, he's going to have to learn a lot coming to the NFL because he was limited there in Lane Kiffin's system. But that's a whole nother story. I just wanted, for me, I look at the other teams, right? And you former Atlanta Falcon fans, you look at what the Eagles have in Jalen Hurts. And you mentioned Warren Moon before. And like, yes, the Giants have started a couple of black quarterbacks, including Tyrod. Like that's all good.
But not on purpose.
But not on purpose. And we've never had and invested in a young black quarterback. And for me, coming up and watching the growth of the NFL from what it was when we were growing up, when all we had was Randall Cunningham and Warren Moon, to where the game now, where almost every damn their team has a black starting quarterback. And for my team to still not have one after celebrating their 100th anniversary, it said a lot. And I said before the draft, I was like, prior to knowing where the Giants were going to be drafted, what pick they were going to have, I was like, if Shedeur or Cam Ward were available in the Giants past, I'm done. So when Jaxson Dart's name was announced, my wife turned and looked at me and she said, are you going to stand on business? So essentially she was challenging my manhood. But other than that, she made a valid point. It's like, at what point do we have to ask more? And I get it. Giants have had black general managers before and the whole nine. But it seems at this point that it's more than a coincidence that they're one of the only teams in the NFL that hasn't had a young black star quarterback yet.
Okay, I have thoughts on this, and we will talk right after this. This episode is presented by Perplexity. Perplexity is an AI-powered answer engine that searches the internet in real time to deliver fast, clear, high-quality answers. Unlike legacy search engines that respond with a list of links, Perplexity skips straight to the answers you need, explained in everyday language that's easy to understand with sources and citations. Now, Ryan, how do you use Perplexity, especially when it comes to the right time?
If you're a loyal listener or viewer of the show, you're already aware that we use Perplexity throughout the show on Mondays, especially when you need questions answered or stats confirmed. But Perplexity is great because you say you're curious about a specific topic from the show, like how much will the Luka trade cost the Dallas Mavericks? You can see how quickly Perplexity can get the answer, which is well over $100 million.
Discover faster, more reliable search with Perplexity today. Download the app or ask Perplexity anything at perplexity.com. All right, we're back on the right time. Shannon Penn. Now, it is funny that you mentioned that because I am inclined to cut the Giants a tiny bit of slack on the black quarterback part. Though I am with you, I'll believe it when I see it, right? As I've said many times, the first time they started a black quarterback was Geno Smith, and the owner got so mad he fired the coach and gave Eli Manning 2 more years to walk around on the field like a dead man. You remember that? That really happened, guys. But I do think we have to remember that the black quarterback is really a 21st century notion in the NFL. Like, he started getting a little traction in the 90s, but it's really a 21st century notion. And for most of the 21st century, they did have the one quarterback, right? Like, that's why I cut the Packers some slack, because for the longest, they had 2 quarterbacks for a 30-year period. But then they went and got a black quarterback, and boom, they did it, right? I will say this, though, about the Giants. There is word, and I don't necessarily know if this is true, but maybe it is, that people thought that part of what Brian Daboll didn't like about the idea of bringing in Shedeur was that Deion Sanders might take his job. I could understand why he might have thought that, because white folks don't be thinking deep enough about these things necessarily. If he thinks for a second that the New York Football Giants were going to make Deion Sanders, the Deion Sanders that we've been talking about for the last 35 years, if you think that they would ever go make him the head coach, you have lost your ever-loving mind.
You haven't been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Everything we've talked about with black coaches and everything else having a hard time, that's how amazing Deion is. That go out the window in everybody's mind. This whole, well, if Shedeur comes, the team is going to hire Deion as his coach. We can barely get him to hire any black dude whatsoever, let alone, you talking about that one? That one? Like the idea that the people in the NFL hate Deion, not buying that. The black quarterback notion has changed greatly. We can't treat this like we did even 10 years ago, right? But the black coach, no. It's right where we were when Johnny Cochran died.
Do you see him? Because here's the thing with Deion too, and the coach, like he's expressed verbally that he has no interest in going to the NFL. Like I don't know if that's true or not, but he seems very comfortable. I think he likes having the control that he has in college. And that's why you have some college coaches that are lifers because they like what they're doing. Nick Saban tried the NFL thing. You saw that didn't work for him. Like you see that guys are just more comfortable with what the process is in college compared to having to deal with the NFL players.
Deion has figured out how to be a college coach who doesn't actually have to recruit. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you've seen this. He's like, yeah, I'm too old to be showing up at somebody's high school. Tell that to the 65-year-old principal. Like there's somebody in that bad boy pushing a mop. What does that have to do with how old you are? But Deion ain't even got to do that. I'm just Deion Sanders. A FaceTime from Deion Sanders will do the job. So if you can be a college coach and still have time to do a talk show on Tubi, which he does, for those of you who do not know.
Shout out to Roxy.
Yes. Like if you can pull that off, then you go ahead and do that. But yeah, nah, Shedeur, told you, man. Some people me and you don't like are using me on some, they got it right about Shedeur. And I'm like, I did. You're not wrong about that. Mm-hmm. But could you stop? Like, how about you just say the same thing as me? Mm-hmm. But don't like bring me up.
Right. Like we talked about at the start. Like, hey, you can jack my slang all you want. Here, go ahead, take my take. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. You leave me out of this one. You go ahead, take the whole take. Say it word for word, bar for bar. I don't care, but leave me out of this.
Yeah. It's wild how that works though, because we got that one cat who been jacking our slang for like 20 years. And I kind of wish I kind of want to send that one an invoice. that one, and now, like in this day and age, because before I'm like, hey, baby, it's a community. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, but that one right there, that one I want to send an invoice. I want to ask you this though. I was watching the game last night. Mm-hmm. The Knicks were up 3-1 to the Pistons.
Yeah.
They are now up 3-2. You a little nervous?
Not nervous, concerned, but I'm not surprised though. If you looked at this team the entire year, they don't make anything easy. I'm just surprised that we're so far deep into this season and they still don't have an identity. Them dudes still act like they don't know each other when they're out there playing. Like you're in the playoffs now. You're 4 or 5 games into the playoffs now, and you still don't know, aside from Brunson Bel Air Academy offense, what you're supposed to be doing. Shout out to Bomani for the Bel Air Academy reference as well. See how we do? And you're still trying to figure out. You're still not able to communicate. Like you went out there yesterday. What's the stat now that the Knicks haven't won a playoff clinching game in MSG since 1999? Wow. Like put that in perspective, right? So I'm not surprised.
Right here.
That was, yes. It was the LJ season, yes.
It
was the 8th seeded Knicks that got to the finals. So am I surprised that they lost that? No, they did the same thing last year to Philadelphia. They were at MSG in Game 5 up 3-1, and Tyrese Maxey had an outstanding game, and they had to go win a tough one in Philly. And I expect the same thing in Detroit. And the disappointing part too, one last thing about that game is that Thompson played well for Detroit. Cade didn't have a great game, although he played well late. The other guys, Hardaway, Beasley, some of the other streaky guys, didn't play well yesterday, and the Knicks still lost that. Like, you need, and I still don't understand. You saw it in 3 and 4. Get the damn ball to Karl Towns. Like, why is it taking so long to find him?
So that's what I wanted to ask you about, because as many of you know, I'm a Karl skeptic. I've always been a Karl skeptic. I think he's the best player on this team. He has been a better player this year than I would have expected. And I don't think I've seen him miss a shot in this series. It seems like every time I look up, he makes a shot. It just look weird after he do it. And, he's still out here. He's still Harry Hackmaster, right? Like that's still going down. But it also feels like, especially late, they don't get him the ball.
Right.
And I'm curious what you think about that.
I still don't understand. You saw it in some of the games in Detroit. Why don't it run more pick and roll with Towns and Brunson? Like, what are we doing? If you run pick and roll with Towns and Brunson, you either get a switch or you continue to get the matchup that you wanted. And it's either going to be a pick and pop or a pick and roll for Towns or a shot for Brunson. I don't understand what they're doing. And I get it's the playoffs. You got to shorten your roster as well. But Tibbs only playing 8 guys. And it's just not working. Like, Bridges doesn't look like he gels. OG didn't play great offensively, although he played great defensively in that game. It's just like you never see the Knicks with this unit have a complete game on both ends of the court. It's either, hey, they do something really well, or they suck at all the other things, but they get lucky enough to win a game on the bad call in game 4. Like, that's the frustrating part with these dudes.
I think they probably win this series just because, they did it last year, a couple years ago, right? Like, they've got guys that have done things that have been in the postseason. I think the Pistons, that being new to it is a thing. I actually think that the Knicks will have a small chance against the Celtics.
Oh, that makes one of us.
No, I think the Celtics, the likelihood of somebody getting hurt is high, right? They already put needles in Jaylen Brown's knee.
Right.
Tatum had that fall. Porzingis, hey, man, matter of time. I don't know when, I don't know what.
It's like when he out there, it's like Final Destination. Yeah. Like, it's coming. At some point, it's coming. You're just gonna wait for it. It's gonna be a slip and fall. He can get out the shower. It's gonna be going up for a layup, a block shot. He gonna trip getting off the bench. Something's gonna happen with Porzingis, but he about to miss a couple games.
Matter of time, baby. Matter of time. Like, it's gonna happen. So I think from there, like, the Knicks have a chance to kind of sneak in there. That's where I'm coming from. But now this is different. In the time that I've known you, the Knicks have been good like twice, right? Like, maybe I was the bad luck charm on that one. You said that matter-of-factly as though you have entertained the possibility. It's had to feel good the last couple of years, right? Like, I hate that I'll get to talk to you every day as a result.
It helps having back-to-back 51 seasons for the first time in 30 years. So like, that's been great. And it's been interesting too for my kids, especially my daughter, to watch now, because the Knicks haven't been good for her 16 years of living. Like, maybe one year, and now this recent stretch with Brunson. So like, for her to experience me watching games, like, she's seen me watch Yankee games and Rangers and Giants. Like, that's all well and good, but she hasn't seen me like this.
Yes.
And like, this is a little bit different. Like, her watching me experience that Game 7 loss last year to the Pacers and Halliburton, that was different.
Yeah, like she now sees you get excited and frustrated,
at
whereas before you were just sad.
Yeah. And the thing too, like, the whole Knicks offseason, the roster, all of this was built for playing Boston. And I think, and yes, they haven't beat them this year, and they've been blown out in damn near every game against Boston here. But the whole thing, like, there's no shame if you fall to Boston. I think there's going to be real serious questions if they lose to Detroit. Now, especially if they lose to Detroit and they would have to have dropped 3 straight games, then there's going to be some serious questions about Coach Tibbs. I'm not saying he's going to be on the hot seat, but his seat's going to be very warm, especially when you got a guy out there, Michael Malone, who I know rubs people wrong with his approach, but he's a guy who's familiar with the Knicks. His dad having been there, him spending time in the New York area. So not putting Tibbs on the hot seat, but there's going to be pressure. If you lose to the Celtics, like, as long as you don't get embarrassed and get blown out by 30 points in a 4-game sweep, you're fine. But if you lose to Detroit, some serious questions are going to have to be asked.
Hey, let me ask this as a serious question. Let's say you fire Tibbs, which is, it's on the board, right?
Right.
Does the next coach have to hire Rick Brunson?
Yes. Like, yes, that's easy. Yes, this is a Giannis at the NASA situation. Like, Come on, man. Look, the Knicks, when they had J.R. Smith, they signed his brother. Like, if they wouldn't have had J.R. Smith's brother on the roster, I'm sure Brunson going to be the head assistant coach, associate head coach with the Knicks. Come on now, what are we doing? That's a no-brainer.
It is so bad with J.R. Smith's brother that there are people here who do not know that they signed his brother. And if we told you his brother's name and his brother's name was Chris, you still didn't know what happened.
Right, Chris Smith from Louisville. Like, I don't even remember when he stopped being a Knick. I just knew he was on the roster. On the roster.
Dude, I don't know how tall he is. I don't know anything about him. I just knew that one time they signed J.R. Smith's brother.
Hey, let me ask you this, too, while we're going around the NBA, right? I have this theory about heat culture. Like, and this is not just me being as a Knick fan, but I think heat culture is a myth. And I'll explain why. Like, yes, it's great to have the determination, all the stuff, and you've had consistency with Spo being in the organization, of course, Pat Riley. But if you think about from the inception of Pat Riley's time with the Heat, he's always had a star player. Think about it. Once he got to Miami, what did he do? He went out and got Alonzo Mourning. So my point, and you've had D-Wade, you've had Hardaway, you've had Jimmy Butler playing at the level that he did. Of course, LeBron and Bosh. Like, what the Heat do and bringing in superstars and developing superstars is no different than most NBA teams. They just bake it wrapping with this cute term called heat culture. But it's always been based around superstars or stars that have played at superstar levels.
You are correct. I think what is more accurate, I do think the heat culture exists, but I don't think the heat culture is so good that you can do it without a great player. Now, I think part of why the idea got so much bigger in the last few years is the NBA's continual underrating of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been the best player on two teams that went to the NBA Finals. Go pull up the list of guys who have been the best player on two teams that went to the NBA Finals. And ask how many of them went to the NBA Finals with some of the rosters that those two Heat teams had in order to get there, right? And so, yes, if you are out here playing Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and all these guys considerable minutes, I do think there's something to be said about your culture and what it does, right? But at the same time, they got there because Jimmy was that dude. Like, and I don't want to sell Bam short, but it's because Jimmy was that dude. It's because Dwayne was that dude. It's because LeBron was that dude, right? Yes, that is. I think that after LeBron left, they really had to pump themselves up and make themselves feel better because it never dawned on them that he would ever leave. We were there for that.
Right. But it just, like you said, but it's always been built around superstars. And now you see it. You saw it happen, and I get there's still the shock of the Jimmy Butler trade, so you can probably give him a pass. But right now, like, Hero is a third option, second option at best. Bam has the skill, but for me with Bam, like, he's way too passive. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't have 20 shots a game, Bam, and shoot and get into the free throw line at least 10 times a game. Like, that's there, but way too passive. So with Miami, it's going to have to be built around a superstar, which gets me to my next question for you, Bo.
Giannis
in his future in Milwaukee, man.
Well, I will say this. If heat culture is not a myth, then the perfect fit for it is Giannis, right? Absolute perfect fit. Here's my thing for Giannis about Milwaukee. You can leave. They're in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really know where you're going to go that's going to be in good shape for long. Like, the nature of the league now is that nobody can stay in good shape for long. And again, this isn't like the NFL where players are disposable and you go get some young guys that might be as good. It's not how this goes, right? Like, they got a structural flaw there. And so I don't think he's coming back to Milwaukee. Like, I can't imagine how miserable it would be to play for Milwaukee next year. And poor Dame, you got yourself up there and couldn't even get to the reel on it. You know what I'm saying?
And Dame got 2 years, $112 million left on his contract too.
Yeah, but and the thing about that 112 is I tell people, if I told you I was giving you $112 million to kick you in the nuts, if I kicked you in the nuts, it wouldn't feel like $112 million. You know, like good for you. You got that bread, but dog, imagine being a basketball player and you got to live in Milwaukee, but not play.
Uh-huh.
In the winter, you don't even get to play. You don't even get your outlet, right?
Like what we out here doing, man?
Yeah.
So my thing with Giannis, because I don't think, like, he's not the type. I don't think he's going to ask for a trade, but I think through his reps, he might let it be known that, hey, maybe it's the best option for us, for you guys to maximize on my value now. so that you can get a haul, so you can start this rebuild. But he just doesn't seem like the type to ask for a trade in that regard. Now,
but he be pressing them though. Can't say that.
Well, you got to, but that's the thing. It's like he's pressing them because he's telling them like, "Hey, I want to be here. I'm going to show loyalty to you guys because you guys took a chance on me in 2013, drafting this unknown kid from Greece. Like, I'm trying to be as loyal as I can, but I can't be out here wasting years either." And what we saw last night, and we saw in the series with Giannis against the Pacers, was Giannis and a bunch of 4 dudes, and for him, and he's talked about his desire to win a second championship. How many more years can he go on like this? Like you think about, people make the comparison all the time with KG. Did he stay in Minnesota too long trying to be loyal? Dame in Portland being loyal, not asking for a trade until it came to that point. You wonder if we're getting to that level with Giannis in Milwaukee.
Also, boy, he stayed too long. We're going to keep asking these questions about how it is he stayed going home early. Like we are nicer. Look, I had no problem with this is not a failure speech last year because I get it. You know, he's like, do you have any clue what I had to do to get here? I don't think you do. Right. Like that. Like I think that goes. But at the same time, it's been losing to 8 seeds.
That's what we saying. We just talked about Jimmy.
2-0 leads.
We talked about Jimmy and that Heat team. When he was an 8th seed, they beat the first number 1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks.
And beat him in like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, you know, so he's in a tough bag, but at the same time, that ain't what the people want to talk about when it comes to Giannis right now. First of all, I didn't know, like, I don't know, Gilly the Kid Sr. Was Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Like, I look up, and Tyrese Halliburton's dad got all up in Giannis' face after the game with a towel in his face. And I don't know if you saw the full video finally where it shows the game ends and his pops comes out and stands directly in front of Giannis, then stops and puts the towel in his face. And Giannis just stand there and look at him. And you got to understand, Tyrese Halliburton did not get the hype gene from his daddy. And he just standing there in Giannis' face and talking to him. And I just wanted to see Giannis slap him in the face, man.
Just one time.
I don't think it would take twice.
And you knew it was something, too, because you look at the video. He said something. Pat Connaughton turned around and looked at him, gave him a look like, what?
Yes. Yo, TJ McConnell had to get in there and be like, hey, we got to get him out of here, man. We got to stop this. And then whatever happened with Mathurin, where I don't know what it got on in that game. Giannis wanted to fight somebody and just knew that this was not something that was allowed.
And I know all week there's been talk about 100 men versus gorilla. I'm just imagining you sort of like the video of Giannis's huge hands around the back of Mathurin's head. Woo! And that's what I can imagine going against that damn gorilla and having his putting paws on my head. He had his hand around my old boy.
And he didn't do it to anybody else. Everybody else, he just dapped him up and like, yes, good game. Yes, good game. Get in here. He brought him in close. And whatever it was, Mathurin wasn't trying to hear it. Right? And then Mathurin pushed him back, and then it almost turned into a thing. I hope he got to go work out in the heavy bag or something.
Right. But I think all of this stuff is in totality with Giannis though, and he handled it great. And talking about disrespect and being respectful after game, be a respectful win. Although some of that, hey, if I'm winning, I'm winning. You can't tell me how to win. But I think he was absolutely right that there was no place for Halliburton's daddy to be coming on the court talking to him like that. And of course, and Giannis said he didn't realize it was his father. Father or not, fan or not, whatever, there was no business for that. And oh boy, is lucky that Giannis is a respectful young man. Because he lucky. Because had he ran up on Bobby Porter like that, there would have been a problem. There would have been a problem.
Bobby Porter's made Andrew Luck go back to the old country. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't really been back since that happened.
He hit him with that Michael Corleone.
That's right.
He sent him back to Corleone.
That's right. He sent him back, lay low for a little while. But you use the exact proper phrasing for what it was. He ran up on him, though probably more accurately walked up on him. But at the same time, anytime you blank up on somebody, too far.
And here's the thing, too. If there's any organization in the NBA that knows about player and fan interaction on the court, it would be the Indiana Pacers. If there's any organization that would know, if there's any footage that needs to be seen about those two fans in Detroit running up on Jermaine O'Neal and he hit him with the M. Bison, shout out to Bomani Jones, hit him with that M. Bison, it would be the Indiana Pacers.
The slide head buster.
and you see Giannis's long ass arms. Would anybody been surprised if he would have hit them with that Dalzim and pop Halliburton's daddy like that? Nobody would have been a surprise, and it would have been justified.
Yo, even Tyrese after the game was like, "Yo, I don't agree with what my pops did. I can't imagine having to discipline my daddy in front of people."
Halliburton, what he sounded like in that press conference was like Red and Friday. He was like, man, it's pops tripping. It's like both hours.
you think about how bad it's got to be for you to have to say in front of people, yo, my pops is out of line and I apologize for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, you put him in a bad light because it sucks too. Like, Halliburton, a tremendous comeback. You hit the game winner over Giannis. Like, that's like one of those where, like, hey, we putting you those one of those Beige brother moments. Like, you having a moment there, but right now we're just talking about your daddy. Like, that's the unfortunate part for him. Because I give him credit because I know Halliburton talks a lot of stuff and whatever and tries to be the new Reggie Miller. I get all that, but I do have to give him credit. He showed a lot of maturity in that post game presser.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this though. I tell you after the show, but there's a reason. There's no way in the world that I would allow Tyrese Halliburton's daddy to talk to me like he did in that game. There's a very good reason, dude. No, partner, not you, maybe somebody else. Not you, not tonight. Not tonight.
What did Cam say? We know you, doggy.
Yeah, we know you. I got dirt on you, doggy. I get back to you in a minute, right? It ain't. Nah, dog. It ain't about to be. I can't stand for this from you. I refuse.
I did have a question for you on a non-sports term, and
yes,
and I didn't mean to throw you off on this, but
you good.
Your thoughts on your feeling, or what did it mean to you to have Outkast being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
So, good thing to wrap up on, right? When Outkast won Album of the Year, they all, you got yours in the mail?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I got mine in the mailbox. I got to go pick it up. I ain't gonna lie, them alerts. That Spotify alert got you.
Yeah, of course.
Spotify like, yo, we got a new Outkast shirt. I'm like, no, we have a new Outkast shirt. I get every single thing they done thrown at me. They be out talking me concert ticket stuff about other people. I don't know so much about that. They be sending that Outkast shirt links. It was a really big deal for me when they won Album of the Year in 2004 because it felt like a legitimization of what rap was, right? I ain't gonna lie. Now, I feel like they bigger than that damn Hall of Fame. And rather than my excitement about them getting in, they need to be glad that these dudes will show up. Like, I've officially come to that place about this. I tell you this, though. They're running out of people to put in. Like, when you start looking at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame truly and what it is, and you get in 25 years after you put out your first record or whatever, they running out of people to put in. You know what I mean? Like, how many people started their careers in the 21st century? Which, again, you're now eligible. Like, we can start thinking about you now.
Right.
In that regard. Who started their career in the 21st century that you really like, oh, okay, we'll put them in. One of them done gone Nazi. One of them got his ass towed down all to 2024.
Right.
Now, the other one, he'll get in. White people love him. But like, this is it for all of us. They're gonna have to start putting these rappers in because they're gonna be running out of people to put in.
And it's gonna be those one-hit wonder rappers too. Like, that's the thing too. It's gonna be we're going to start entering a territory where you don't have the rappers who had the staying power. Not saying you need, because I know rap is a young man's game. So I'm not saying you got to have a 10-year plus career. I'm not even saying that. but you got to give me more than just 1 or 2 hits that sounded just like everybody else, you know?
Well, that's actually kind of funny about this year's induction. For example, they put Chubby Checker in, and Chubby Checker is an all-time one-hit wonder. Right? Now, granted, that one hit changed everything, right? But he's an all-time one-hit wonder. My issue with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with rap, Scarface will never get in, for example. Just about any non-black genre, or white genre more specifically, because I imagine our Latino brothers could say the same things. An act of as influential as Scarface, even if it wasn't just straight ahead rock, they're going to find a way to put him in. Right? It's the same way they got to Madonna so much earlier than they got to Janet Jackson. Like, in terms of like magnitude as musical stars, they're kind of what and what. Like, you could say Madonna was bigger, that's fine, but Janet Jackson is they're on the same plane.
Right.
And it wasn't the same in terms of them getting in. It's those types of people. So it shouldn't have to be LL Cool J or Tupac in order for you to get in, right? KRS-One. If Outkast and these other people are in your Hall of Fame, KRS-One should be in your Hall of Fame. It can't just be Tribe Called Quest, who white rock critics loved, right?
Right.
And so, but I think they're going to be running out of people to put in. And rock as a genre has died off a long time ago.
And I will say this too, getting back to Outkast, and you've made this point, like, and maybe we don't even have to say it, doesn't need to be said, but y'all need to stop out here disrespecting Big Boy. Like we gotta stop this, because I know like they had the AI generated stuff and they was doing Mount Rushmores or whatever, and I've seen some that just had Dre and not Big Boy. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, I get it. I'm a Dre fan. I'm a fan of both, but Big Boy, one of the best rappers out here ever. And folks need to like stop disrespecting him like he the other dude. Like this was no Pippin. This was like we both Batman in this regard. Like, people need to stop.
What I don't think that people like fully recognize, and where I think the credit doesn't come, is that a major difference between Andre and Big Boy is Big Boy has his own classics, right? That Purple Ribbon All-Star album, which is not straight solo Big Boy, but is a Big Boy record. The Sir Lucius Leadfoot joint and the Vicious Lies and Dangerous Rumors are bangers. Y'all begged Andre for a solo album, and all he did was just blowing in that goddamn flute, and y'all stayed in here lying about that shit too. Y'all stayed trying to act like, oh man, I liked it, it was really good. You lying motherfucker. No, you didn't. If I told you anybody else was out here blowing in that goddamn flute, ain't no way in the world you'd be sitting in my face talking about how dope that was. That ain't what y'all wanted. That ain't what it is. Big Boy got classic singles. That damn Kryptonite still go. To this day. Still go. I contend.
General Speaker Box, like all of that. Yeah.
Right. Speaker Box Greater Than Love Below. It's, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. There was a time period that came around when saying you liked Andre made you seem smart and cool. Right. And this is back for y'all. It transcended rap. Right. As if rap could ever be transcended. It transcended rap, and y'all bought all of that hook, line, and sinker. And look, I do think the ceiling of Andre 3000 is higher than the ceiling of anybody else. Like, I do think that when he gets there, nobody can get to the place. But he also, in the last 20 years, has been like, but I'm only going to let you hear me rap if I go there. Right? We got a selection bias situation. But nah, they going at some point, they're going to give Big Boy his respect. But, you know, Big Boy way up on the list of the rappers where let's just talk about music, baby. We start getting into a disagreeable zone. When it goes somewhere else. Don't need that. It's like I go back and listen to Old Goody Mob, but I'm like, oh, we don't agree on that much. now that I have a better ear for this.
It made me think too, back some 10 years ago, whatever it was, and somebody had asked you to make a comparison between a certain rap duo and Outkast, and one of the members of said rap duo was none too pleased with your
buddy, I don't want to do that. Oh no, so sorry. So people who don't know this, somebody got on Twitter once and asked, on what planet do people think that Big Boy is better than Talib Kweli? And I said that planet was Earth. And I was like, my bad. I thought there was a consensus on this matter. I didn't think that this was up for debate. It is definitely up for debate in the Kweli household. He was so mad at me.
Yeah, it was so many tweets. God. It was so many tweets.
It was so many tweets. And this was back when I used to be in the zone, right? So it was so many tweets, and I'm sending him links to Carl Thomas Emotional. I got Ninth Wonder DMing me and Kweli. Will you two N-words stop doing this in front of everybody? Like the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still just like, nah, and he was bad. He was hot. I'm like, brother, I didn't say that, like, I don't even want to throw nobody else's name out there, but I ain't say you was worse. Like, okay, I ain't say that, like, the homie Turk was better than you. I ain't say Silk the Shocker was better than you.
But he took it at that, though.
He took it hot. By the way.
Go ahead.
No, did you know that Silk the Shocker now claims he was offbeat on purpose?
I did see that. And I'm like, Ninja, please.
Whatever you say, partner. Whatever you say, partner.
You ain't gonna convince me of that one. It was so easy for you to spit a clean 16 bars on Maya's Moving On. You couldn't even do that. Come on. Ain't My Fault was a layup. You had Mystical at the height of his powers. Ain't My Fault was a layup.
You need to quit it, like, go to him and, like, roll with me. You know what, though? I'm glad he couldn't get it right on Best of Me, because that necessitated what was at the time maybe the best Jay-Z verses that we had. The Best of Me remix, Jay-Z.
And that's such for Jadakiss, because like Jadakiss' verse and like his version wasn't bad. Like that was cool, but then you got Jay-Z was like, hold on, no, I'm Jay-Z at this level with the Best of Me remix.
Yes. Y'all, Jigga Man be balling.
And you got the Maya in the Jordan dress too.
That did happen. Hey, look here. I'm a little tired of LeBron still out here playing basketball at 40. Right? It's time for you to go. Keep on keeping on, Maya. Keep on keeping on. Somebody need to go ahead and sign her to a max extension. Keep this rolling. She's still hitting the glass. She's still making hustle plays. Like
she's doing all the little things, man. She's
doing that.
She's a consummate pro, team player. You know,
right? Most people age out of that, right? They move out to the perimeter. No. She's still... She still got it going. But hey, man, that is Shannon Penn. So I don't mess it up. Tell the people where they can find you on ESPN Radio.
Yeah, Freddie and Harry, ESPN Radio, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. ESPN app, ESPN Radio, my Twitters, which I don't use as much, but I'm still there. Shannon_Penn. That's where you can find me.
And it's lucky we got a little different recording schedule right now, so I could get the homie in. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate you, brother. Top to bottom. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this here 3 times a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe. Like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.